Every year, millions of people have to leave their homes to seek safety due to persecution or conflict. In 2017, a record high of almost 70 million people in the world were forcibly displaced, either temporarily or permanently. The UN assessed more than 25 million displaced people as refugees needing resettlement in a safer country, and more than 3 million people are still waiting for assessment. These figures continue to increase, but each year only a very small proportion of refugees are permanently resettled, around 100,000 people in 2017. Australia resettles a very small number of refugees each year. Most of these refugees are settled in urban areas, but more refugees are directly or indirectly settling in regional areas. This film looks at the experience of former refugees from African nations who have settled in the town of Lismore on the north coast of New South Wales. The Moloko project began when former refugees and staff from the Refugee Settlement Service and the local university worked together to mark Refugee Week in 2017. Many former refugees no longer identified with the refugee label, but instead saw themselves as locals in the Lismore community and wanted this story to be heard. This film is therefore about how this story was communicated through the Moloko project.
I support migrants and refugees in various different ways, ranging from support with linking them to education, to English classes, to university, to primary school and high schools as well, but also day-to-day issues that people might be having with the settlement process.
My name is John Mapatano. I'm a dad of 2 boys. I'm a former refugee and a student here at Southern Cross University. I was involved in that project as a local member and also as a Southern Cross University student, and I was one of the participants in that project.
When we were working on the project, we had a workshop with a number of the people who ended up being featured on the posters, and we asked them about what made them feel connected to community. And there were things like having access to a childcare facility, having shops nearby, having neighbours who said hello. And I guess that's one of the benefits of being in a smaller community, that those personal connections are more possible.
The project has a really great impact, especially in African community and among refugee community in Lismore, because it just tried to build self-confidence about the refugee local community member to just have that recognition of I belong in this community. It's a double impact project because from the perspective of refugee community, that was the impact, but also for the local community member there, the Moloko project just raised awareness around local member to see that there is some people who also belong in our community and they are contributing in different way in that community.
I've been to potential employers and asked about, hopefully linking in some clients to work with them. And the first question the employer asked was, are they entitled to work? So it's just that lack of understanding that, people from refugee background comes to Australia are often permanent, they come as permanent resident, and more often than not, they're already citizens. So, just trying to bridge the lack of understanding there with potential employers.
The project helped me a lot even for funding certain type of work because I became famous because the project was everywhere on post, and then when I go to apply a job somewhere, even this person who interviewed me says, "Oh, I saw you somewhere, is it you, John?" And yeah, that's in that way the project helped me also to connect with the community. And even in my class also, my colleague was asking me, okay, we saw you somewhere on a poster and this is what we didn't even thinking that you are contributing in this community, you are doing a very great job, something like that. And for me, I was feeling really happy and good for getting those feedback for my friends and others.
The Moloko idea started on that statement that says, well, I'm part of this community, and the statements says what makes them part of the community.
Since I start working full-time also, I feel like, I really an Australia guy, because I don't mind about my accent or how I speak, but what I feel inside myself, because I feel like when I go to work as everyone else, I do what everyone else do here in Australia and respect the value of everyone and the belief. That make me feel like, okay, I'm an Australian too, and I can have barbecue on my backyard and freely without any fear and so on, yeah.
We wanted the participants to really express how they feel. There was no agendas, nothing philosophical about it, really simply how they felt. And so that's how the project was thought out and how it came to fruition. And so that simplicity behind the statements, I think, is one of the highlights in the project and the posters.
As a way to, I guess, think about refugees in a different way, to think about concepts of connection to community, and to celebrate the fact that they are very much embedded in our community.
Yeah, we can have an event and celebrate Refugee Week, but why we don't try to do something differently here and do something that links, the refugee community to the local community, because it's important to understand that most people in the Lismore area, they've been here for 12, 10, 8, 5 years. They're well entrenched and part of the local community.
There's a lot of advantage because of that community support, because in area like Lismore, most of people maybe know you, they know you very well, they know how they can support you. So you get that community support, and that is really great, because when I came here, I didn't know even how to drive a car. And people in the community just step in and try, oh, John, we're gonna help you about your driving. That was very excellent support for me, because without driving a car, I could not get my job. And that was really good. So that small community is in Lismore is really good, because they know each other, they know how they can support and who they can support.
I believe that we learn a lot from sharing stories, and the intention of the poster project was to share the stories of people who are here as members of our community.
We can only gain by supporting people and being compassionate and supporting people in their journey when they arrive in Australia, in order to create a more equal and better society for everyone.
I think there is a lot of things in different level here in Australia that need to be done to support refugees to resettle in this country. First of all, in community level as well, that acceptance. So people need to be tolerant and accept others who are coming here to participate and to be one of them. Because once you are coming here and you always been rejected by your neighbor, the local members there, you will not have that chance to participate, even get an employment, you can't. Yeah, and that is the only thing, the society acceptance. So we can have that window of tolerance and say, okay, even if they are Muslim, they are African, or they come from whatever area of the world, we can accept them and help them to step forward in a positive way.
I think it's important for Australians to better understand why refugees are coming to Australia and the circumstances in which they come, because it's a big humanitarian issue for the whole of the world to address, and because there's often negative and in a lot of cases untrue statements in the discourse?
I think Australians can gain a lot understanding the refugee journey. We do proud ourselves as a multicultural society, and refugees are part of that fabric.
It helps to allow us to understand what we share in common in our humanity rather than looking at what divides us.
We can't do anything alone. We need each other.
When I feel like I'm belonging, everyone is welcoming me to do something and to participate in something, and I feel safe while doing that. I feel like I'm belonging and don't need to hold on my previous label as a refugee and move forward to the next step of citizenship.